Welcome to Disclosures with Peter the Insider and Jessica Arael Morocco. The ACIO has a long history of helping humanity from the deep recesses of time. This is the first time the ACIO has become available to the public, aside from an earlier visitation by their 15th Division, the Wingmakers. Peter the Insider, originally from Slovakia, is the director of their 12th Division, and Jessica Arael Morocco is in Cicada 3301, their 6th Division. Together, they provide intel, insights on current events, a deeper perspective on aliens and UFOs, super soldier missions with Unit 374 in the Merge, and news relevant for disclosure. Don't forget to subscribe to keep updated with our latest intel and post any questions and comments below.
Hello, everyone, and thank you for joining us today on our show Disclosures. We are going to provide some more updates. Peter the Insider is here with us, and he is going to give us some information regarding some of the most recent missions and other pieces of information that may be helpful to us in this very long journey that we have, but we also have some positive things that I believe that are moving in the right direction. Some things are getting revealed, and I'll bring that up later. So let's begin with Peter. Welcome, Peter, and thank you for joining us today.
So I want to say hello to you, Jessica, and to all of our regular and maybe not so regular listeners. So we've got big win. That means we captured head of show. You know, Jessica, you know.
Yeah.
But it was so crazy. I was like, oh my, that's crazy. This is like old times, old school mission. Old school mission. It was like I was like in early 20s or something like that. It's so much.
What do you mean? What do you mean? You were 20 years old, or
No,
like
no.
in the 1920s?
In my early 20s. I was part of crazy mission or missions, and I was like, holy moly, this is crazy. And I was like, no, I'm just a little bit too old for those kind of situations. It is messy, chaos on the battlefield and all kind of that stuff. And I was like, okay, because that's kind of, let's say, the background. It was, let's say, okay, we are talking about head of show is captured, she doesn't have her powers anymore and all kind of that stuff. But if we will go time wise, okay, all of us in Unit 374, in Black Ops, like in SUSO, you know, we know, okay, we've got HVT, that means high valuable target, fine. Yeah, great, perfect. But do you know what was crazy? We have no clue who HVT is. That was crazy. And I was like, what in the world is wrong with this mission? I mean, yeah, we have been like in plenty of those missions like that, but everything was so crazy. They still are, because this part of the mission is done, success and all kind of the stuff, you know, mission accomplished and so on and so on. But they literally were paranoid, and I was like, hey guys, what the heck is going on? What's wrong with you? And it's like, hey, oh, the walls had ears, and I was like, what the heck? walls is having heat and all kind of that stuff. And I was like, man, stop, it's not a big deal. And then, since the situation and time was getting on, and I was like, bad news bears. We are going to capture somehow someone from show house. And like it or not, it was Eder. Yeah, that was crazy.
Can you give us some details, a little bit of information, since you've already finished the mission?
Yeah,
you got muted.
I will tell you something that she didn't expect. She never expected that, because she was quote unquote in the safe house. And safe house, aka it was crazy world, okay? I was like, okay guys, I like your style of sense of humor, but I am not Tom Cruise, okay? Because even getting close to this huge world, it was literally like next, continuation of series. I mean, Tom Cruise, Mission Impossible. And I was like, hey, no, I don't like this. And the whole mission was super chaotic, because we've got black mold and we've got leaks. But not double agent, triple agent, multiple agents. You know the drill. You know the story. You know the story, right?
Yeah.
Oh my God. And then she was smoking this very tiny, super long cigarette. And she totally doesn't expected us. And I was like, Eddie, I am here. And she was, what? That was so funny. And she loves when somebody calls her Eddie. So what the heck should I do? Okay, it was total crazy, because they are using also called babushka, aka matryoshka system. That means reality within reality, and inside the reality, and inside reality. And I was like, oh my God, where the heck are the how can I say it, the right door? It is pretty much like Matrix, but no, we are not talking about simulation. Real reality. I don't want to say reality, context of existence, time, I mean speed of time, everything was different. Somewhere you've got only 2 dimensions, and in another reality or context of existence, you got 4, 5, maybe even 8 dimensions, and you need just to calculate everything in your head, because I don't know, for example, the quotes in quotes compass, aka GPS or something, completely doesn't work. It's worthless. Oh my, that was absolutely crazy. And we saw her. I mean, not her, but this world, okay? But it was that kind of little small. And I was like, what? I'm seeing 1,000 layers. How in the world should we go in that the smallest one? And they said, okay, if you will go there, it is only beginning. And I was like, what? That was so crazy. Sorry, I'm just.
So this this is almost, sorry, I don't mean to jump in, but this is like watching the movie Inception, where they have to figure out where the dream within the dream within the dream, or not necessarily going through that process, but to give some sort of example.
For interrupting you. This is exactly what I was about to say. It was
Right.
pretty much like some sort of perfect mixture in between Matrix, Inception, action scenes of Mission Impossible, sometimes driving less, even crazier than in Fast and Furious. I was like, what the heck is that? That was crazy.
So you had to navigate and calculate where in the babushka that she was hiding in the timeline, the way that it was intersecting or hidden within
because
it.
Look, once you figure out something in one layer, okay, what was, let's say, context of existence, it is worthless. Because once you got it, okay, fine, we are champions. Do you know what? No way. Because you need to go to another and then to another. It was crazy. Oh my.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
So, and when you arrived there, obviously you saw her, she was relaxed because she wasn't worried that you were going to take her, but did she have a team, military, some elite soldiers around her, or what happened?
You know what? Once somebody say to you code, okay, 246, that means expect heavy resistance, aka resistance non plus ultra. And I was like, what? And believe me, that was crazy. That was the craziest part of this mission. And I was like, Harry, you want to see me? That was crazy. What the heck should I do? She wanted to see me all the time, so I just made her dream come true. So did I did something wrong?
No, it reminds me of something else. Let me see. Another movie. Keep talking and I'll get it for you.
Yeah, it was so crazy. And she literally stopped breathing. She stopped breathing.
The Shining. It made me think of The Shining. When someone, he says, honey, I'm home.
Sorry, what?
When he says, honey, I'm home in The Shining.
Do you know what? This is crazy. No, but give me a second.
Combination.
That was crazy.
Yeah. Combining all those different things. And you're right. I mean, she's been harassing you for I don't know how many years, and then choking you.
Then we can positively say at least when pandemic hit the fan, aka approximately for minimum 4 years.
And that was probably brought in also by them as well, right?
Yeah. I want your babies. No, I don't want to have babies with me. No. Forget about that.
Yeah,
then she was choking me and all kind of the situation. Gee. Yeah.
And we figured out is that,
of course, Janet with her strum and this kind of now I got it. hissing sound, like you know, like a snake or something. Like, my older sister is very unhappy. I need to punish you. Like, oh my, why in the world again? That was crazy. And without those
Yeah,
artifacts, just by the way, artifacts are really, and I mean okay, really powerful. And without those artifacts, they are absolutely powerless. And I don't quite understand, to be honest with you, why so many people don't believe in, let's say, power of artifacts. I mean, ancient, super old artifacts, because let's say technology, crazy advanced technology, is pretty much hidden inside them, inside those artifacts. And why in the world so many people don't, I don't know if they don't believe in that, they don't understand that, and all kind of that. What do you think? Hmm?
yeah, that's why the archaeologists get into a lot of trouble, when they're digging up a lot of the stuff regarding Egypt and some of these ancient locations, the early Romans. All of them had technology that were given to them by ETs or some advanced society that
Yeah,
made them so powerful.
yeah,
Ancient Greece, same thing. And so they got a hold of that and enabled them to time travel. I mean, you see there's so many different shows that show individuals that discover either a location or a means of time travel
yeah, I
through
know.
some assistance. And then they start altering things and creating other problems. But
Yeah,
it's
you
not
are
just the
right.
time travel, it's also like mass mind control, implementing new technology that is detrimental or it's not the right time for humans to have it. That kind of, and like, I'm not one to censor technology, but if people don't have the right consciousness, that's how you get wars and annihilation of the earth as well as all living things. So there has to be some kind of wisdom in the whole process. And just also on a side note, Peter, you talk about how she kept coming after you romantically. Supposedly, she wanted to have your children. What we came to the conclusion is that what she really wanted was your DNA, so that you would be no longer be needed. You'd be replaced, right?
And exactly. And I was like, yeah, yeah, bad news bears, guys. Exactly, you are
Yep.
right. Let's say she's some sort of quote in quotes praying mantis, you know.
Yeah. Well, there's both of them too, because Janet also is a problem.
Ay, 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 ay. But
But
now
Janet,
she's struggling. Now she's struggling because without the strum, she can't sing. And just by the way, not sing, but even speak. Just by the way.
or to convince the people, it's almost like having like the object that gave them that persuasion. So, and you look at all the Greek and Roman myths, they have so many stories like this, where, and I don't believe they're stories, where they would have like a device or like the golden fleece or something that it enhanced
What is
the
giving them powers and abilities and yes, of course, scientists don't believe in those myths. But why in the world all the scientists are naming their projects according
After
to
them,
God.
that's right.
Sorry, it is funny for me.
Yeah. And some of them die unexpectedly. So, well, either you learn one way or you learn another way. So, and that's a hard school of learning, but it's something that you don't want to really mess with.
Oh,
And
you bet, of course. I saw it many times, and I was like, "Are you kidding me? You shouldn't do that." And they're like, "Nah, I know what I'm doing," and I was like, "You don't." It is pretty much like if somebody's addicted, and it's like for anything like gambling, drugs. Do you know what I mean? Alcohol, and it's like, nah, I've got it under control. And I was like, for real? Do you know what I'm trying to say? It's like, for real? That is the final station once somebody is saying this. Sorry, I'm just saying.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm looking at, I think I had an article here about what's going on with Taylor Swift right now. And let me just share that. So, lyrics from I Hate It Here on Taylor Swift's The Tortured Poets Department. They're saying that there's racist lyrics backlash. Something about it going to the 1830s. Now, was your mission related at all to this 1830s, or was that a reveal with her album and she hinted of what was going on, where she was?
If you say so. No, sorry, I'm just saying.
Yeah, because they're this is kind of where she's getting stuck, and or people feel that it was insensitive, but I think just that it is kind of opening up to the fact that you pulled her strum, because she's been saying things for a long time, and just insensitive to people in general. Not just one group, but although this is coming up where she's showing her insensitivity. But remember the whole thing with Shaw House. We'll go to the website and we'll look at worldwide military corporations.
Yep.
So let's take a look at the year. I don't think they talk about the year. Did we?
No.
We don't talk about how old this group is, Shaw House, but we do talk about Monarch.
I will tell you exactly.
6,000 years.
I will tell you exactly how old Show House is. I mean, they are very old, but officially they formed as a organization / what so forth in 1776. Okay, it is the exact same year as first Freemasonry Lodge was formed in London. Just by the way. You know.
That's interesting. I think that was 1717 when they created the lodge, or no? The lodge was first founded.
Oh, maybe I don't know. But what I know, it was 1776 or maybe 1770. I don't know, to be honest.
1776 is that's when a revolution was.
Give me a second. Yeah, it was like that. Yep, my bad. Because they widely, massively, and I mean massively supported revolution. My bad. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean they created it, but we never really pulled away from the control of England. It was just like a facade, right? I mean, technically there were British people here fighting against British people, and they wanted to
Yeah, you are right.
just be run the country by themselves. Autonomy.
So the 1776, okay? Once there was a revolution, yeah. This is this year 1776. It was absolutely crazy. Yeah.
But the Freemasonry Lodge for the U.S. I think was established by I think or was George Washington, right? Who
Yeah,
then
but
became
I don't want to say they are that bad. So many people demonize them. Do you know what I mean? It's kind of, it's like Illuminati and all kind of those organizations. They've got money, they've got knowledge. Do you know what I'm trying to say? They've got everything, and so many people demonize those organizations and all kind of, and they are making up stories. Do you know what I'm trying to say? And I mean really bad stories.
So it's a club, right? So it's a secret society. But I think the point is that they're manipulating and oppressing and then determining who makes money, who doesn't. So it's kind of like an elite kind of
But give me a second.
setting.
Give me a second. Isn't this same situation in nowadays? For example, huge tech companies. I mean, IT companies. It is the same situation. Uh, you know, weaponry industry. And they don't know what I mean. It is the same situation. Or for example, like startup funds. Do you know what I mean? If we like it or not, in US, if you are quote in quotes friend with Elon Musk, you can get tons of money from startup organization. I mean, state, federal government funds of startup. And if you are in bad relationship with Elon Musk, you've got zero chance to get any penny, if you like it or not. It is the same situation. And Elon Musk is not in any sort of Illuminati, Freemasonry, P2, Ron Club, and all kind of that stuff. I'm just saying I am not saying that they are or they were good or bad. I'm just saying it is the same situation. Do you know what I mean? It is a natural way of, do you know what I mean, developing things and situation. You know what I mean?
Yep.
It is normal. But I'm just saying, officially they were established, show house in 1776, but first Freemasonry lodge, it was 1710s, I don't know, 1717, 1720. Am I right, Jessica? In
Yep.
London, it was like that, something like that. Am I right? So first, let's say rumors about the show house started in this kind of those kind of dates. Do you know what I mean? I don't know if it is the exact date.
1717.
I think it was like that. Am I right? Yeah, it
Four
is like
London
that.
lodges had existed. Came together in Goose and Gridiron Tavern in St. Paul's Churchyard.
And this is my question. Why in the world so many people? It's like, nah, I don't believe those guys. They are controlling everything. Do you know what I'm trying to say? It doesn't make any sense.
All right. So are you saying, now we know they exist. Okay. So we're not going to deny that. But are you saying that there are bigger problems than the lodge? Because originally we did have a discussion. You said the problem with the ACIO is when they started creating a world domination, and that was at 1717, and we have it in the history of the ACIO.
Yes,
That was the
that's
point.
true, but give me a second. World domination, in which kind of case we are talking about? Because if we are talking about, for example, cash flow, who the heck cares about cash flow? Okay? Or some sort of knowledge about ET technologies. They don't care about that. They've got their own sources of income. Because world domination, nah, it doesn't. It is totally worthless to believe, like, we dominate this world. We are rulers of this world. Once they, I don't want to say they don't have access to the ET technologies, but for them everything is, or let's say 80-90% is about cash flow, about influencing politics situation, I don't know, or let's say geopolitical situation, aka creating and stopping wars and tensions and flip-flopping regimes in certain countries, or let's say parts of the world. And this is it. And it's like, okay, fine, but this is on Earth, and Earth is just nothing. It's like one piece of sand. You know what I mean? Like seed of sand or something in a huge beach. You know what I mean? A drop of drinkable water in the ocean. No.
Yeah, but
I
there's
mean,
they can
if we
still
are
get,
talking,
yeah.
give me a second. If we are talking about what is going on right here, right now, in this context of existence, on Earth, yeah, then it is a big problem. It is a big deal. Fine. I'm not. I'm saying, okay, those kind of societies, as they are Freemasonry, Illuminati, P2, Bilderberg, Rome Club, all kind of them. Okay, it is a problem. It is a big problem. But if we are talking more globally, and give me a second, not globally, but I mean galaxy-wise, universal-wise, dimension-wise, it is not a big deal. Absolutely
Right.
not a big deal. We need to
I,
consider which kind of scale we are talking about.
um I do want to mention that here under Shaw House, it does talk about secret societies, clans of businessmen, Bilderberg, Illuminati, Lioness, P2, Rotarian, Club of Rome, Wetton Group, Zionists, etc., related to their agendas. So they have integrated into these groups and have
Yeah,
influenced them, right? This is Shaw House.
yeah, you are right.
There's something else I wanted to bring up too, is here they talk about how this apron from the Masonic Lodge was a gift from General Lafayette. Now, I said the incarnation of Lafayette is Joe Biden. All right, so as president, he laid the cornerstone of the U.S. Capitol building in Masonic ceremony. So remember, they put together this grid. So you could see literally the grid and all the gridding that they did regarding the Masonic teachings and how they created the city, the U.S. Capitol, right?
Yeah, I
And
know.
he did this while he was attired in an embroidered Masonic apron. The apron, incidentally, had been a gift from General Lafayette, another hero of the American Revolution and also a Freemason. General Lafayette was not an American; he was French. So he was a French.
Just by the way, yeah.
But he was very involved. He was very involved, and I also did a show about this, that he's connected to Joe Biden. That's his earlier incarnation. And just as another mention is that Lafayette was also involved with another election where there was a question about who was actually supposed to be in office. So it's almost like, with certain incidences, they don't get resolved. They keep happening. So that happened again around him regarding
So you are talking
some
about
kind of
certain
election.
circles. So you are talking about certain circles. I mean, how can I say it? Circles. Let's say it is periodically happening again and again and again. You mean?
Yeah, like in karma, and I have seen this for years because I've been working with people with Akashic records for many years, and you see like patterns.
Oh,
So
okay.
so if
Okay.
you see that this person has a problem with this, like you have a problem with another person, that person will keep showing up over and over and over in the same dynamic over and over and over until you resolve it. And then that's why
Okay.
when people free themselves from that, when they apologize or they resolve the karma, that releases and then they move on. It's an incredible thing. But there's so if and say he funded or he was involved secretly in a manipulation of an election early on, and then karmically he is now accused of not winning fairly, right? That the election was rigged or something like that. And that's karma that came back to him. And that's why I could prove that he is in fact connected to Lafayette. And I talk about it in one of my shows that I did earlier. We'll probably link that in case.
That is pretty much the, or let's say that was a reason why Liberty statue is, aka was, a gift from France, pretty much French government, and then so forth and so forth and so forth. I mean, why it wasn't from any other government and so forth? Do you know what I mean? Just by the way, side note.
But on top of that, they were already deciding, and I'm not just saying the French people were, but the elite were, or Lafayette was, deciding that the United States would be Babylon because it was supposed to be Semiramis, right? Or someone that was connected. Let's see if we can look at the Statue of Liberty and where the origin was.
Just by the way, this is very important stuff.
I don't know if they're going to say exactly which one it is. They just say that it is the Queen of Liberty, but I have heard it many times. But, here we're looking at Wikipedia.
Yeah.
The Goddess of Liberty.
Yeah.
They also are trying to say that it's Marianne. But I have heard that the way that if you start looking at the details, that it is actually connected to Semiramis. And kind of like, here again, this whole thing about Babylon. Babylon was a location, a place in our history. They talk about how, that's the most evil of evil. Somehow it was translated that the United States, people have interpreted that to be the United States, of like in a biblical sense, that Babylon should go down, which is why everyone's always pointing the finger at the United States that it should be destroyed or what have you. And that started with, having some of these symbologies come in, or
I will tell you something, okay? I was like, liberty and all kind of the situation, but why in the world it is in New York City? Oh my God, it is always chaos in New York City, constant chaos. Oh,
right.
why? I mean,
Yeah.
it is such a huge city, and I'm like, what? You need to go from A to B, from point A to point B, and I'm like, no. It is constant chaos. Yay.
Yeah, and they're bringing in, look at, because there was, which is another part that's kind of funny about New York City. It was originally a Dutch location, right? So originally
New Amsterdam. It was New Amsterdam. I know it. Yeah.
Yeah. So, we have this hat, I guess, is supposed to be related to the Dutch, but you have a lot of different things. A Roman garment, the Dutch maiden typically wearing a Roman garment with a lion. And you see that lion a lot over in Europe, right? The Benelux area.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm talking about, Peter?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, I don't know if we got sidetracked at all, but yeah, so getting back to Shaw House, Heather Shaw,
Now,
Janet
please,
Shaw.
I will tell you something what is interesting. In New York, Taylor Swift has her super luxurious apartment. And I've got very good friend of mine. And he told me that she got in there, secret quotes in quotes, playroom. I was like, what the heck are you talking about? And they are doing 18 plus deviant activities there. And I was like, what? And believe me, you don't even want to hear that. Nice. She is not normal.
No, she's not. Now, there's something else that came up I thought was quite interesting. And let me grab.
I will tell you something, Jessica. From my point of view, those people are full of astral parasites.
We're going to talk about another one of the corporations because I know that people have said to us, well, what's really happening? It's not changing anything. Nobody's doing anything. Well, we're actually, our Unit 374 has been instrumental in starting to capture some of these astral parasites that are changing and assisting our reality. So here's another example.
I will tell you something, Jessica. Those astral parasites are goddamn strong. Look.
So this is Monarch now, right? So this was an entity that was associated with the leadership, not just, someone on the side, but actual leadership of Monarch.
Yeah.
And he went to court multiple times, never got in trouble for, some kind of sexual aggression towards, I think whether they were underage or just, maybe someone's non-consenting. I don't know the details of exactly what happened, but look at the comments. Soulless monster. I mean, Peter, when you brought him up in the beginning, no one believed that this person could have done anything bad.
Give me a second.
Well, he's
and how many years it was? How many?
Too many.
At least 2, maybe even 3 years before COVID pandemic started, and nobody believed that. No,
I want to say that was one of the first corporations you talked to me about was Monarch, and you revealed this information about the actor that, as we know, as Kevin Spacey, was very involved in this organization, the entity in him, and look at the result of it. He was acquitted of 9 charges, 9 different individuals, many of which I think they're not even alive now.
Yeah, you are right.
Which is disturbing.
This is crazy.
And so,
My.
but things are happening, Peter. You know, we're seeing whether it's Heather Shaw, Shaw House, Janet Shaw having a hard time, and now we're
Yeah, there
looking
are a
at
few
Monica.
interviews, censored interviews. It was normal interview, and she started to lose her voice. It's like something like that. It was crazy, and those videos
Let me.
are censored. You can't get them on the internet. It was just for few hours, and they were deleted from Facebook, from X, aka Twitter, from YouTube, and I was like, wait, what? That was crazy. And it was immediately after we, uh, confiscate her strum. And I was like, what?
So you're saying that something else has happened since then, but
Yeah.
nobody's talking.
No, because they made certain stuff. They made certain stuff, and yeah, look.
That's 2023. So that was last April, about a year ago. What's this 15? Is this connected to number 15?
Yeah. Yeah.
What's her involvement with number 15?
It is a bad astral entity, but I am not expert in astral entities. Nope. No.
We're talking about that's Wingmakers, right? The number 15.
Mm-hmm. Because it is like some sort of beast was awakened, and she wants to be famous desperately, and you know the rest of the story. Yeah.
Yeah, well, we know that they make agreements. There's another article. That is March 2024.
Yeah.
She pushed herself night after night in the continent, spanning Eras Tour. And then during her show in Singapore on Monday night, it finally happened. The global megastar voice gave way. While singing her hit song Delicate, she suddenly started coughing and spluttering. Her diehard fans, dubbed Swifties, rushed to social media to express concern, with one person writing, "I was there and so worried about Taylor. She's fighting for her life." Though arguably an overreaction, it does beg the question, it's all getting too much for Taylor Swift. So that was in 2024.
Yeah, I'm saying, I'm telling this.
I know, Peter. I mean, and this is what I've been telling people, that, whether they question the information that you provide at times, and it looks like she's coughing right there.
Yeah.
And that's the problem, is if they don't hear what you're saying, and they don't believe it, or discard what we're saying, then they're going to miss what's happening.
Yeah.
There's 2015, quitting the band, saying she wanted to be a normal 22-year-old. I mean, obviously she took over the body. The entity took over the body.
Yeah, that's true. There is no doubt about that. No doubt about that.
Oh, that was weird, the big clock that they showed there in that video.
It's always bad news bears. Big clock. Yeah.
Matrix Media Group. The Matrix Media Group.
Do you know what? This is it why I want to talk about this. Nobody know about this. Look. This is like, why in the world you are doing crazy
It's a
crap?
house. Did you see that? There was a house there too. Watch.
Look, give me a second.
Like Shaw House.
Give me a second. And this
Right
is
there.
it. No, I told you. Hey, I told you. It is always like that, and people never believe me. Why in the world it is just like that?
Since when do you put like a house in the background of a concert?
And give me a second. Does it make
Yeah.
any sense? Of course no.
Yep.
It is, how can I say it? Like it is way too obvious, and people simply don't. I don't want to say they don't see it. They don't want to see it. It's like that. Am I right?
Yep.
Ah.
So that came out March 7th, 2024. And this is from some of the work that you've been doing, pulling the technology from her so that she can't.
So many people will be like, okay, what is that? Nah, it's not a big deal. It's just a strum, guitar strum. A guitar strum on 2 reels. Do you know what I mean?
Yep. So what's next? There's anything else happened in that mission that people should know about?
Yeah. We prevented huge invasion of 12D Pleiades. I mean, what in the world are they? What is so intimidating in this planet for them? Do you have any idea? I don't understand. What?
I think it's on their time clock, or it's time for them to destroy this, to create like a reset. I think that's what they were planning, and that's why they're coming.
You mean like great reset and all kind of the cycles and?
Yeah, like mud flood or something. We've been talking about this for a while. So,
give me a second. I want to ask you, okay? Because I'm not expert in this field, okay? Why in the world do you believe happened mud flood? I mean, was there any reason? I mean, reasonable reason? You know what I mean?
Yeah, there's a lot of question about what our actual year is, because they keep on coming in, they shift the timelines, they reintroduce, they remove or depopulate a lot of the adults, then they create a re-education, and then they integrate new things. So what I was bringing up about, I was looking earlier at Larry Fink, and he actually mentions that we should depopulate, and that so they can bring in more robotics and androids to make way for it. So it's almost like the replacement of humans are some kind of androids. That's the next civilization maybe they want to bring in.
But give
that's
me a
the research.
Give me a second, please, okay? I will tell you something, okay? Like it or not, but they are already here. And I mean, so many of them. Sorry, androids, okay? Go to Japan and you will be like, oh my, what is going on here? And they are so goddamn perfect that you are like, what? You don't know who the heck is android and who are normal people. Even they don't have this kind of TPE, thermoplastic elastomer, what so forth, but so it quotes in quotes real feel like in as the human skin, but it has the human temperature. No, that's next level crap. I don't know what the heck is wrong with the Japanese people. They don't want to have real partners. They don't want to have children. I mean, okay, I will be sucked out of energy after certain amounts of arguments, but if somehow in relationship will always say only yes and only permanently agree, I don't know if I will be so happy with that kind of relationship. Huh? What do you think?
No, it's not organic, and like you said, that they kind of created a scenario that they would remain independent, and they have people working so many hours to the point where they
And I
don't
will
really
tell you
want to do
something.
anything.
70%, okay, Japanese people, because according to Japanese standards, people are under 40, maybe 45, they are very young, okay? According Japanese standards, okay? 70% of those people will definitely prefer Android, quotes in quotes, as a partner. I was like, okay, are you serious? Then,
That's what the statistics say.
yes, 20% are like 50-50. It's like, it should be very, very good match. I mean, it should be a real man or woman, okay? Very good, like 100% match. Otherwise, I will definitely go for Android. But give me a second, Jessica. We are talking like 70 plus 20 equals 90%, and only I don't know, like 7 or 8% were for sure only like real, you know what I mean, a man or woman, and those like 2-3% they don't want or something like that. And I was like, what in the world is wrong with those people? You know what I mean? And they, since this year, they massively started to um, export those androids to all around the world, and I was like, what? Please, no. And you can, quotes in quotes, build your own android.
And that was a concern. That was one of the shows we did. You were telling us that this is a much bigger problem than people want to acknowledge. But when I saw this interview at the WEF where Larry Fink says that the countries that depopulate are the ones that are going to benefit because they're bringing in androids, or they're bringing in robots or something to be able to pick up the slack. Like, they don't want the people there, they want robots there instead. And so, I mean, this is not hidden. This is an interview or a presentation that he did at the WEF.
Give me a second, Jessica. How long ago I talked about that? How long?
Yeah.
1.5, maybe 2 years? Something like that.
Oh, you've been talking about the androids being here for a while, and also that they were working with Monarch. So we were talking about, like, was the Cara Delevingne, and there was some others that were connected to it.
Yep. And nobody believed that at the time. Nobody believed that. And we were first, even in the, let's say, alternative in media information community, nobody believed that once we started to talk about this. Because it's a huge problem. It's a huge topic.
Well, you were talking about Japan and how they're being depopulated already, low population. They don't want immigrants coming in because that instead they brought in androids.
Yep, you are right. But give me a second. Even it was like UN, United Nations, they signed this treaty, if you want to call it that way, with Japanese government. I mean, you if you want, Why in the world not? Just feel free to manufacture those androids and export them worldwide. I talked about this, and nobody believed that at the time. Nobody. So
Right.
once Larry
Yeah.
Finks is saying that, I am absolutely not surprised. I mean, it perfect matches with the whole
Agenda.
scenario. With the whole scenario.
Is this a Pleiadian 12D Pleiadian agenda?
Yes, you are right. Because for them, we are just sorry for being like, yeah, this is some sort of dehonestation or something like for them. But for them, we are just the rats in the like lab rats. Do you know what I'm trying to say? Like it or not,
Yep.
that's true. Or guinea pigs, as you are saying, Jessica, right? Yeah.
And is Larry Fink one of a 12D Pleiadian?
I will tell you why he is so quote unpopular. Because he's saying truth. He's only one of, I mean, he's part of elite on one hand, but on the another, on the other hand, he's like, hey guys, open your eyes, open your ears. This is how it is right here and right now. And for masses of the people worldwide, it is like punch in the face. Do you know what I mean? It's shocking. Do you know what I mean?
It is.
Because yeah, of course, people they are following alternative media and all kind of that stuff. Those kind of audience, it is getting even bigger and bigger and bigger. But it's like they are living in some sort of, I don't want to say illusion, but delusion. Like nah, it is not that bad. But if he is, because he is really like, you know, part of elite, and he's saying like, okay guys, look, this is like that, and another part is like that, and those people are like, oh, do you know what I mean? Like in shock. Do you know what I'm trying to say? And what in the world? Somebody needs to say to those people, let's say, the ugly truth about our context of existence. Boom. Period.
So is he does that mean he's working with them? Who was he working for?
Give me a second. I don't want to say working with them or for them, because once he will be really like you are saying, he will not give let's say very secret information to the people, to the public. No, definitely not.
So you're saying he's disclosing information?
Yeah,
Is that what you're saying?
definitely. Yeah, definitely. And so many people will say, Insider and Jessica, they are BlackRock assets, and I will say no. But once somebody is part of a lead, and the lead make an agreement to say, okay, if you want to disclose info, feel free to do so. But once it will bring heat to you, you need to deal with the heat by yourself. Do you know what I'm trying to say? By your own. That's it. You know what I'm trying to say.
I know that there's some question about BlackRock buying up all sorts of properties. What's the purpose of that?
I will tell it exactly as it is, okay? Next generation warfare experiments and scientific research. Oh no. You ask me very direct question. Bam, you have direct answer.
Next generation warfare?
Do you know what does it mean? Warfare. It's like mass destruction weapons, weapons of mass destruction. So next generation, that means first it was Spanish flu, very first was Spanish flu, and then all of those quotes in quotes flus and fevers. Do you know what I mean? Like Vietnam flu, Asian flu, Nile fever, and all kind of that stuff. So it was biological weapons. Then we've got atomic / H bombs, hydrogen bombs, and all kind of the stuff. Okay. Then we know we have CVD right now, and they are just developing and testing. I mean, they are buying huge properties for building dumps, DUMBs, deep underground military bases for those purposes. I mean, we need to be transparent about this. Why in the world not?
Nobody's talked about that they were buying all these properties. What, so they can get rid of the houses don't matter, they're going underground?
Give me a second. What do you think? Who causes? Who was the root of the whole crisis? 2007, 2008 real estate crisis. Huh? BlackRock. Because they started like, okay, guys, it kind of doesn't look good for us in Iraq, okay? Because they know that there were no weapons of mass destruction in Iraq. I mean, okay, let's say they were, and they still are, but nobody know where the heck they are, okay? Saddam was goddamn good. He was very smart in sort of way where to hide them, okay? So we know that they exist. Nobody know where they are, okay? After 20 years, once they started second invasion called quotes in quotes Iraqi freedom, okay? And they were like, okay, we need to start developing of next generation of weapons of mass destruction, or aka mass destruction weapons warfare. So they get rid of everything, real estates, and they let the whole market with real estates go to crash, like boom. You know what I mean? And that it started huge crisis in 2007, 2008, something like that. Lehman Brothers and all kind of those huge banks and financial institutions, they go to crap, that.
And then they did that with the banks. They recently did that with Silicon Valley Bank, right?
Yeah, you are right.
That was also BlackRock. Yeah.
Give me a second. That's the problem. They let them go to crash, and then they get tremendous amounts of assets because they buy it for penny. Smart move. Yeah. I'm just saying, sorry. It's so funny.
But all those, but it takes from the people.
Give me a second. I don't want to say this funny because for people it's crazy bad, but from their perspective, they absolutely don't care about people. I know it is unfair, but what I'm saying.
All right, so that's my bottom line. So Larry Fink really doesn't give a what about any of us, and that he's doing this solely for his own personal power, and he doesn't care that that people should be replaced by robots. That's all I'm saying.
But at least he's saying it loudly. He is the first. He's pioneer. Okay.
No, well, no, because Klaus Schwab said it as well. He came right out and told us, "You'll have nothing. You'll have nothing. You'll be happy, because we'll make sure that you don't have a choice. So we'll make sure that you're going to have to obey us by acting like you're happy." Pretty much, that's the same thing.
Nah. Yeah, you are right. You are right. That's true.
So, all right. Now that we've come to that, I do something we've never talked about, but we kind of have gone around it a bit. Is does the ACIO have knowledge about what this war was and what happened in the Pleiades? What brought on this war with the 12D and the 15D?
Once they were only Pleiades, one, right? I will tell you.
Yeah.
Resources. Resources. Limited resources. So exactly the same crap as here on Earth, right here, right now. Because pretty much, okay, they started to synthesize everything, okay? Even the water was fake. Do you know what I mean? Everything was just a fake. I mean, like artificial, if we want to call it that way. Even like, and this is it. This is the root, perfect root of us being super stupid, like extremely stupid. AI, artificial intelligence. We will be super stupid. Look at those videos. Look. You open your smartphone, you make a photo, or you are watching video on YouTube or another video platform. You pause it. You how can I say it? You grab your stylus, for example. For example, Samsung I will say loudly, has quite a good AI. You just mark it with your stylus. You quote unquote wake up your AI, and it will do everything for you on the internet. Search everything. I don't know, for example, it is a building, it is a, I don't know, certain plant or certain animal, and so forth and so forth, and like I don't know, or it is a, for example, it is a car, or do you know what I'm trying to say, or it is a tree, and I'm like, what? But you have internet. What in the world? Why in the world you are so lazy and even don't want to open it? Do you know what I'm trying to say? It's crazy. It is making us more stupid, more lazy. Do you know what I mean? And this is exactly how we are getting more and more and more lazy, more stupid. If you like it or not, I am saying it as it is. I'm like, hey, stop. This is artificial intelligence. Yeah. This is bad. This will not end up good. This will not end up well.
Yeah, because the artificial intelligence, takes over a lot, and also influences trends.
And give me a second. It is, how can I say it? It gets even far more further, and I'm like, okay, what are you talking about? Friend of mine, okay, who is really like IT geek. Let's say we are making this conversation. I mean, we are having this conversation, and it is, or it will differ my voice, your voice, fine, okay, but my style of conversation, or not conversation, like monologue, your monologue, and you will choose Like, it is casual, it is funny, it is friendly, it is professional, and it will make transcription. And I was like, what the heck is that? It doesn't make sense. Why in the world is... I was just looking at it and it was so crazy.
Well, we know that there's that Singularity that came up with Google, and that
But give me
one
a second.
individual
Does it
employee.
make any
the
sense
whistle.
to you, Jessica? Does it make any sense to you?
Yep.
Please.
Yeah, it does. It makes a lot of sense.
No, give me a second. Does it make any sense to you? Like, we ended up so super stupid with AI.
It is.
More and more
Yeah.
AI, and we will end up stupid.
Well, we'll end up not existing.
Oh,
That's the
yeah.
whole.
Yeah.
I was looking. There was a movie called Singularity, and in Singularity, they essentially just decide to get rid of all the humans. They don't want them. There is another. We were looking at Iron Sky and how they have Steve Jobs, and they have him as if he's a Draco or a reptilian or something. But he's still worshipped because they liked his technology, right? So there were people that really idolized him, and they created a church or something in the second version of Iron Sky. But I thought of Steve Jobs. Did you think that they used him in a type of singularity?
Definitely, you are right. Mm-hmm.
Is there anyone else that they did that with, like Einstein or Tesla?
Oh,
or
definitely. You are right. You are right. Yeah.
So yeah, all of these. So
you
that's
are right.
what's influencing. That's what's influencing our way of thinking. So in some ways, they remember that planet that you were on that had all those scientists. Was that a project where they grabbed all those scientists and put them in this form of singularity?
From my point of view, it was definitely some sort of project. No, it wasn't. Give me a second. It wasn't a planet. Rather than planet, we called it context of existence. But it was so weird, so unpredictable. Oh my. I didn't felt comfortable being in there. Nah.
Do you feel like they were trying to pull your information, use you in a singularity?
No, it was like they've got some sort of secret society, pretty much, but some scientific secret society. And I was like, what the heck is that, man? You know?
Okay. And then but did you feel like you were being observed, or what made you feel uncomfortable?
Observed. How can I say it? Like observed, followed, and all kind of that stuff. Yeah. Definitely.
Kind of reminds me of that Al Bielek society that I remember viewing, and then I heard him talking about it, with the big TV screens everywhere. And
yeah.
But that wasn't the same one, though, right? This was something different. It was a collective of all the greatest minds that were on the planet, on Earth. Is that?
Yeah, you are right.
But it was separate. They were the one and the same, or they separate realities?
1, 2, 3. Sorry, separate realities. Yeah, you are right. That was crazy.
Well, we had a friend that was there, someone that we knew, by the name of Sandor.
Yeah.
And he was heavily affected by it, because then, remember, you kept on saying you were disintegrating. And then he was.
But that's true. Give me a second. That's true. or was, you know. Yeah.
But he's okay now. Or they did
Was,
something
give
with
me a
that
second.
reality.
Was okay. And I told you was. Yeah, that's crazy.
So, but they're no longer disintegrating, or do you think you don't know because you haven't been back there?
No, he's fine. As I said, he was disintegrated. Yeah.
Yeah, but not just him, everything there was disintegrating. Even you, while you were there, was disintegrating. Do you remember?
Yep. I know.
So that something's the ACIO stopped the disintegration
Yeah.
of those
Yeah, definitely.
minds,
We
scientists.
stopped that. Yep.
Right. Did you have help from the 15D Pleiadians?
Yes, and we can be happy that that they helped us, because otherwise we will be not able to do so. Aye, aye.
Right. Just another question, getting back to the War of the Pleiades. What kind of, they're humanoid enough that they needed water and some things to sustain life with, so they ended up coming here to Earth, integrating with humans, and then started to take advantage of humans, but using the
I will
resources.
tell you something. What is their problem? They cannot reproduce because of technology. They are so they have too much technologies and everything and everything and everything. Do you know what I'm trying to say? And that was it. They can no longer reproduce themselves.
You mean technologies? You mean like enhancements? Like they're
Yes,
almost
technologies
android
and getting enhancements and all kind of that stuff, and then arguments, especially arguments.
augments. So if you have too many augments, you can't reproduce.
Of course, it's normal. At least from my point of view, it's not a big deal. I mean, you know it, right? Or not?
Yeah, well, I know that's what the the jab was. That was to create some kind of augmentation, especially in the blood, so that would interfere with reproduction, so that it would depopulate.
Yeah, yeah. Yes, you are right.
Yeah.
You are
Anything else that
goddamn right. Yeah.
Yeah, I wish I
I
wasn't.
think, I don't know. From my point of view, this is good for the show, for today's show. What do you think?
Okay. All right. And I just want to say then thank you, Peter, because I think we got some really interesting information. We also kind of explained a little bit more about the battle, or the incident that happened with Heather Shaw. So I think people kind of felt like we talked a little bit about it and then went off on a tangent. So we have a little bit more detail and explanation, and starting to talk a little bit more about what their plans are that's still existing. There's certain, like we've already talked about, Klaus Schwab. We talked about Monarch and what's happening with Kevin Spacey, and then still, even though the Heather Shaw is captured, we took an artifact from Janet Shaw. So this is kind of an overview of everything that we discussed today, and then the earlier cause of some of these problems, going back to a war of the Pleiades. And approximately, Peter, do you have, like, I don't know, like, was this pre civilization on Earth when that war on Pleiades happened? How far back
Give me
was
a
that?
second. I will tell you. The oldest people, if we want to call it that way, on Earth, they are approximately like permanent civilization. Uh, it's 12 million, in between 12 and 15 million years ago. Approximately, okay, it's kind of vague, okay, vague. And this war on Pleiades happened approximately 6 million years ago.
Okay, so they were already
and it is pretty
existing
much,
at
and
that
it
time.
is pretty much the same time as Anunnaki split it to Elohims, aka good ones, and Nephilims, aka bad ones, right?
Yeah,
Just by the way, okay?
that's a good timeline then for us to as a reference point. Excellent, Peter. That's helpful. This civilization that you're referring to that might have been 12 million or 15 million years connected, are you talking about the Aborigines?
No, about white people, aka about Caucasians, and especially about Slavic people. Yeah.
So the Slavic people have been here since 15 million years ago.
In between 12 and 15 millions years ago. Yeah. And nobody believed that, just by the way.
Well, they've done so many resets, so it's hard for people to track this history, but the Pleiadians did that on purpose so people wouldn't understand, how things came in. Yeah, we've talked about that the Slavic people were here a very, very long time ago. So this whole thing with the evolution about the whole Darwinism, did that play out, or was that the whole existence, or is none of that's true?
No,
Or
it
maybe
is
one
untrue,
example.
but it will be crazy complicated stuff to talk about.
Okay, maybe
It
we
will
should
be just FYI. It will be like few shows if we want to talk about that. Okay.
Sure, yeah, whenever you're ready, Peter. I'd welcome that conversation because I agree with you. I know that they've done experimentation like hybrid experiments, but
Yep.
that I don't believe that we're all from that experiment. Yes. Okay, Peter. So I want to say thank you so much for all your information. I mean, you are a wealth of information. Anyone that doesn't realize that, you really need to go back and see all the different shows and also things that have come to pass that Peter's talked about. And we appreciate your time, and thanks for. We also appreciate the effort of Unit 374 and SUSO and those that are working together to try to resolve some of the problems with these corporations. So thank you.
So I want to say thank you, Jessica, for giving me another opportunity to be on your channel. Thank you to all of our regular and maybe not so regular listeners for their patience that they still stick with us till the very end of the show. I am really looking forward for next time. Stay safe, stay strong, and bye-bye.
Thank you, everyone, for being here. Have a good day. Don't hesitate to leave comments below and ask questions. And eventually we will get to some of the questions that you have. Have a great day, everyone.
You have been watching Disclosures. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already. Visit www.acio-official.org and www.readingsbyarael.com to book a private session with Jessica. Feel free to support our work. All links can be found in the description. Thank you, and until next time.